On a hot Los Angeles night in the summer of 1984, a predator prowled the city's sprawl. He slipped through open windows, crept into dark bedrooms, and brought nightmares to life. He struck without warnings, sometimes with a knife, sometimes with a knife, sometimes with his bare hands. No one was safe. Men, women, children, even the elderly. He raped, murdered, tortured, and left behind symbols of Satan scrawled in blood. The press would call him the Night Stalker. His real name was Richard Ramirez, and for over a year, he turned California into his personal hunting ground, a place where every shadow carried his face. Richard Ramirez was born in El Paso, Texas, in 1960, the youngest of 5 children in a Mexican-American family. His childhood was marked by violence and instability. His father was short-tempered, often abusive. As a boy, Richard witnessed domestic fights and sought escape in the streets. At 12, he was heavily influenced by his older cousin, Miguel, a Vietnam veteran who bragged about torturing women overseas and showed Richard Polaroids of his atrocities. In a moment that would scar him forever, Richard watched Miguel shoot his own wife in the face during a domestic dispute. Trauma mixed with fascination, and Richard absorbed it all. By his teens, Ramirez was already experimenting with drugs, burglary, and violence. He was obsessed with Satanism, heavy metal music, and pornography. Tall, gaunt, with rotting teeth and a chilling stare. He drifted into Los Angeles in the early 1980s, already a petty criminal. But his true transformation into the Night Stalker began in June 1984, when he committed his first known murder. 79-year-old Jenny Vinco, found stabbed and nearly decapitated in her own apartment. The brutality stunned police, but it was only a taste of what was coming. Over the next year, Ramirez escalated into a phantom of terror. He broke into homes across Los Angeles County, later in San Francisco, killing indiscriminately. His victims ranged in age from a 9-year-old girl to a 66-year-old man. He shot some, bludgeoned others, stabbed, or strangled. He raped women and sometimes forced them to swear allegiance to Satan. He left pentagrams drawn on walls and even on victims' bodies. The randomness of his crimes fueled hysteria. Unlike other killers who had a type, Ramirez attacked anyone, anywhere. In March 1985, he entered the home of Vincent and Maxine Zazara. He shot Vincent in his sleep, then tied up Maxine. When she tried to resist, he stabbed her, gouged out her eyes, and placed them in a jewelry box. The act shocked, even hardened detectives. It was clear this was no ordinary killer. This was someone driven by sadism and dark rituals. As bodies piled up, the press dubbed him the Night Stalker. Los Angeles was gripped by fear. Families bolted their doors and windows. Gun sales skyrocketed, and neighborhoods organized watch patrols. The city seemed under siege by a ghost who left death wherever he walked. Ramirez moved with frightening ease, hitting suburban homes, apartments, even houses near freeways. The investigation was chaotic at first. Different police jurisdictions weren't sharing information, and Ramirez's varied methods made it hard to connect the dots. But soon, patterns emerged. Size 11.5 Avia sneakers, 22 caliber bullets, and signs of forced entry. Detectives realized they were dealing with a spree killer unlike any the state had ever seen. In August 1985, Ramirez struck in San Francisco, murdering Peter and Barbara Pan in their home. This time, he left a pentagram and the phrase, "Jack the Knife," scrawled on the wall. The mayor, in a controversial move, revealed details to the press. Ramirez, enraged that police knew his shoe print, threw away his sneakers. But it was too late. Investigators were closing in. A break came when a stolen car Ramirez had used was found, fingerprints inside. They matched Richard Ramirez, a known petty criminal with a record. On August 30th, 1985, police released his mugshot to the public. Overnight, his face was on every TV screen and newspaper. The predator had lost his anonymity. The next day, August 31st, Ramirez boarded a bus in Los Angeles, unaware that his own photograph was staring back at him from the front page of the Los Angeles Times. Passengers recognized him immediately and shouted, "That's him. That's the Night Stalker." Ramirez fled the bus, running through the streets of East LA. But the neighborhood united. Men chased him down, cornered him, and beat him until police arrived. The hunter had become the hunted. At trial in 1989, Ramirez strutted into court with long black hair, flashing pentagrams drawn on his palm, shouting, "Hail Satan." The spectacle was surreal. Young women crowded the courtroom, infatuated with him, some sending love letters. Ramirez remained defiant, sneering at victims' families, showing no remorse. The evidence was overwhelming: ballistic matches, shoe prints, fingerprints, survivors who testified, and stolen property. He was convicted of 13 murders, 5 attempted murders, 11 sexual assaults, and 14 burglaries. When sentenced to death, Ramirez smirked and said, "Big deal. Death always comes with the territory. I'll see you in Disneyland." His words sent chills through the courtroom. He never expressed genuine remorse, continuing to court Satanism and infamy. In 2013, before his execution date could be set, Richard Ramirez died of complications from B-cell lymphoma. Even in death, his name carried the echo of fear. The Night Stalker case left scars on California. It forced police departments to cooperate more closely across jurisdictions. Recognizing how serial killers could operate without clear patterns. For communities, it was a lesson in vulnerability. Evil could enter through an open window, a door left unlocked, and it could strike at random. Culturally, Ramirez became a symbol of true evil, the boogeyman incarnate. Documentaries, books, and Netflix series retold his story, grappling with the question, how could one man inflict so much pain on so many strangers? His gaunt face, hollow eyes, and sneering grin became an icon of terror. But behind the legend were real people, families destroyed, lives stolen, survivors scarred forever. Too often, Ramirez's infamy overshadows their names. Vincent and Maxine Zassara, Dale Okazaki, Sileon Yu, Jenny Vinco, and many more whose final moments were stolen by the Night Stalker. Tonight, Los Angeles still gleams with bright lights and endless freeways, but the memory lingers of a summer when fear crept into every bedroom, when Satan's name was whispered in blood, and when the Night Stalker reigned. Richard Ramirez is dead, but the question endures. Was he the embodiment of evil, or just a broken man who embraced the darkness inside himself? Don't forget to like and subscribe to Crimson Narratives, because the monsters we fear most are often those who walk among us.